I think I just went on a whole monologue and didn't realize I was muted. My bad. Um, but what's going on? Cash or Trash bet review show, kind of self explanatory in the name. We're going to go over the card from last night. Um, Real quick, looking at something that I posted. I'm awake in my Usman. Posted it up there. The my Ghost to Split strat had a pretty good night. It's like I said in the post, 8 of 12. Just based on the criteria that we use to hit the overs, but anybody that was that knew their bets knew that Sean Strickland was going to be a decision machine and go to the over, and so was Nico Price in the Morono fight. So we'll get to there. We'll get to there. Um, Aussie, how's it going, brother? Glad to see you on the mic as well.
Yeah, what's going on, fellas? Good to see you. This is one of my favorite things to do, kind of break down the fights after we've had our bets and everything and see where we catch up. So, yeah, good to talk to you, fellas, today.
Yeah, I am currently pulling up the odds from last night so that we can go ahead and see everything that did cash, what we missed on, and all that good stuff. First fight of the night was Andre Lima, Bite Boy, versus Mitch Raposo. And as you can see there on the Ghost of Split strat, it said that it wasn't supposed to go over, barely missed our criteria on plus 400 goes to split or lower, but it was plus 425. More importantly, goes the distance minus 130, always tells us to hit the over. And then I got the updated odds in that picture next to it. That's hitting the over at 71.76%. So it goes down as a loss. I take it as a win. Mental note, because when we see that minus money on goes the distance, we're gonna hit that over. The fight itself was all right. Going through the odds here real quick to see what we could have cashed on. Over 2.5 minus 160. Great little parlay piece. I know I added that to a four leg right off the bat. Fight goes the distance minus 130. Scrolling down to Lima wins by decision plus 155, and that's what we ended up getting. I know there was a little controversy with a judge that we're going to be talking about a lot tonight because this was a split. Dave Torelli scored at 28-29 or 29-28 for Mitch Raposo. Didn't really care too much about the fight to have an argument either way. It did definitely look like Lima was the winner. Only thing I'd have to say is Mitch should have probably wrestled a hell of a lot more. That was a disappointment as somebody who took a shot on his money line. And Lima, get that fucking weight in check, man. Anything on this one for y'all?
Yeah, I was kind of leaning towards a 30-27 myself. I've just come back to your CapMA website, pulled up the cards, which is an awesome feature you can do. It's really easy to just kind of pull up the cards for each fight. And yeah, this Torelli, like you said, his name's going to pop up a couple times tonight. So whoever's cashed that split decision on this one, sometimes all you need is a bit of luck and the right judge. But yeah, I thought it was 30-27.
Agreed, agreed. Odds, I saw you put the mic up and put it back down. You had anything on this one, brother?
No, I agree with what you guys are saying, but this is a fight I stayed off of. I didn't have anything for it.
So I usually try to do a little parlay for the first four fights of the night just to try and start off hot. And I had told everybody in the group chat, first four overs, that's gonna cash. If you get a little scared and sweaty about Hafez and Gaw going over 1.5, just switch out Hafez. I went ahead and ran those two and cashed them both. Pretty good night. But on to the next fight, second fight of the night. Lots of bad blood when it came to Eileen Perez versus Jocelyn Edwards. Um, Very surprised we didn't get a split on this one because besides just Eileen Perez doing what she usually does and going for the grappling and not getting a lot of offense from the top, I just thought Jocelyn Edwards was going to put up a better fight, and she did put up a good fight there in that third round. Even in the first, when she got some reversals and flipped it over. Let's hit the odds on this one real quick. Over 2.5 minus 270. Fight goes the distance minus 215. Scrolling down to Bettis wins by decision minus 110. One of those fights where you just look at all the odds, look at what it's telling you, and more than likely you're going to, you know exactly what they're giving you. I did hit the Bettis by decision. I know we don't like to hit props at minus money, but this one was one of those where it's just like, hey, we'll put a unit on it and get a unit back, basically. Um, yeah, I mean, Eileen Perez talking about her huge ovaries after the fight and wanting to take Kayla Harrison for a 5 round main event. First of all, don't give us that. We don't need that. We don't want to watch that. I'm always here. I don't know how many times I say I'm always here to hype up the women and the women fights. We don't want to see Eileen Perez versus Kayla Harrison in 5 rounds. Plus, she's gonna get mopped. She's if Jocelyn Edwards is flipping you around and reversing you, Kayla Harrison is gonna beat you up. But hey, we got to see her twerk, right? Anything on this one, boys?
Yeah, I had a little bit on Edwards round three. I figured she was going to lose round one and two at a big clip and need to do something special in that third, but she never really got there. I had a little bit on the split decision as well, but didn't get that either. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. This Perez girl, she needs to relax. There's a difference between taking Edwards down, you know, 10 times, and then or however many, and then trying to go in there with someone that's 10 times bigger, stronger, and more technical. You know, she needs to just avoid that as much as she can.
Yeah, and I'm not here to say that he didn't pick the right winner here because Perez was a pretty clear winner here. But once again, Dave Torelli with a 30-27 for Eileen Perez. And personally, I thought Edwards took that third round pretty handedly.
I actually had a Perez bet money line, but I was worried in that round three.
Yeah, that's just gonna be one of those things. She wrestles hard for those first 2 rounds. Every third round is gonna be a little shaky. But I think that's all we need to say for a Dan Perez fight. Let's get on to Basil Hafez versus Mickey Gall. I really thought this was gonna be a lot closer than anticipated, man. Minus 470 on Hafez. I was really glad I didn't pay that money line or straight just because I mean, I put it on the parlay, but did he look like minus 470? He was put there to take Mickey Gall out. Kind of broke this one down perfectly. I said everybody should just be slamming the over 1.5 because Basel is going to. He knows that Mickey Gall is going to be a good jiu-jitsu artist, not going to want to take him down all the way, and he's going to want to flex on that striking after the fight that he had with Jack Della Maddalena, and that's exactly what we got. Going down to some of these odds, over 2.5 rounds, minus 135. Fight goes the distance, plus 135. They didn't think that that was going to happen, right? And then Hafez wins by decision, plus 165. So, although, man, Hafez was a minus 470 between 165 and 135, plus 135 and plus 165. It seems like the books were kind of. They were kind of spot on with this going to decision, and they didn't give us too much money to work with when it came to those props. Anything?
Yeah, this was one where I think Basil kind of shit the bed. I mean, even in a win, it was dominant. You know, I thought he won every round, but he kind of had to get the finish here to really. I mean, you know, Mickey Gall is kind of a bottom of the barrel guy. Come off 2 years layoff, back surgery, and all that. Hafez is, you know, what? How old is he? 35 or something. He's coming in here now, and he's meant to wreck shop. You know, they if they want to give him a push, you got to do something special here. If you're not going to knock out Mickey Gall, who are you going to knock out? You know, I mean, Gall, he took those shots. I guess he's tougher than we thought after that. Who was it, Mick Malott or whoever he fought in his last fight? Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I guess he looked good, but yeah, in the future, I don't see him ever being that price tag again. I don't know who you can put him against in the anywhere above him in the rankings where he's going to look anything like this kind of favorite. So yeah, he's definitely a pass going forward.
Definitely seems like it was a case of classic overachieving on short notice with that Jack Della Maddalena fight. And Fuego, good to see you on the mic, brother. I saw you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's not often that we say that a guy's stock goes up in a loss, but I think Mickey Gall's stock went up a little bit in a loss. I mean, damn, he showed off a chin, and the the better thing was he showed off some really improved striking in the fight yesterday. Maybe it's the case that we, overvalued Hafez and undervalued Mickey Gall, and that's just what our perceptions show. But I'm actually looking forward to that guy getting back in the octagon now to see what he's got.
No, I couldn't agree more, man. I think you said it perfectly. Overestimated the Hafez thing, maybe underrated Gall, but his striking definitely looked improved, man. If that's it, we'll move on to the next one. Jake Matthews versus Phil Rowe. See, now, like, I don't have anything against Jake Matthews personally. I just don't bet him. And I've had some pretty damn good moments where I know right off the bat, oh, Jake Matthews is going to lose this fight. And I feel like this is the first time he got me from when this fight was announced. I said, this is not a fight that Jake Matthews can win. Scratch that. He can win. We saw that he did, and he would have won a hell of a lot easier if he wrestled. Why I thought he wasn't going to win was because Jake Matthews is dumb enough to strike with people that he needs to wrestle and wrestle with people that he needs to strike. And when it came down to that first round, I was feeling very, very confident about that damn that Phil Rowe money line ticket at plus 145 that I was holding. And hey, Phil Rowe is just as dumb as a fighter as Jake Matthews. What can I say? Let's look at some of these lines. Jake Matthews cashes in minus 175. Over 2.5 rounds. This was the closing leg on two parlays for me. I was feeling real good about this one. Minus 177 for the over 2.5 rounds. Scrolling down to Matthews wins by decision plus 160. I almost tried to hit just Rowe wins by decision, but ended up just taking the money line just for any wacky shit that happens. Uh, like I said, feeling really confident at the end of that first round. Phil Rowe looked pretty damn good. He was landing good, looked very fast. But dude, Jesus Christ, you can't be that tall and that long and not know how to strike from a distance. You can't just stand there and stare and expect that you're gonna win with looks. I texted my friend saying, I think the problem with Phil Rowe is that he acts like his shit don't stink, fights like his shit don't stink, and looks good up until he gets hit hard and realizes he doesn't like to fight and he doesn't want to be doing what he's doing. And I think that's been the case multiple times. Shame on me for taking Phil Rowe. Anything here, boys?
No, I have to agree with you. This was my second bet of the card and my first loss because I had Phil money on too.
Aussie.
Yeah, I was kind of happy with Jake's performance. Really, he really didn't make any mistakes. Every his boxing's really improving every fight. He's obviously really working on that heaps. He's not just a wrestler anymore, but really he could probably wrestle a little bit more. I'd like to see him really mix everything together. You know, he kind of becomes one dimensional in each fight. Obviously, in the third round, we got to see some grappling, and I mean Matthews looked good there, man. He really did, and yeah, I don't know, man. This guy, he just kind of he's grown up in the UFC. You know, he's been in the UFC for 10 years now, which is insane. And yeah, I don't know. What do we do from him here? I mean, it's got to be up and up, right? He shouldn't be fighting anyone below him. It's only people above him from here. So hopefully he gets some really good matchups. I expect to see him in turnaround and fight in Perth coming up at 305. I think it is 305. Yeah. So yeah, onwards and upwards for Jake for sure.
Yeah, and I usually like fighters that grow up in the UFC because you just love to see Love to see a kid turn into a man and fucking take on all these good fighters, but he just doesn't do it for me for some reason. And Fuego, finish this one off, brother.
Yeah, Aussie, I love you, man, but I couldn't be more opposed to your opinion on Jake Matthews. This guy's got 20 fights in the UFC. Came into the UFC at 19 years old, and I just don't see him being any better than he was 5 years ago. I don't see him improving. I don't see him getting any better from here on out. What are we gonna do with this guy? You know, what's the word in Australia on this guy? Because he's just average. He doesn't he doesn't regress and he doesn't get better. What do we do with him?
Well, I guess he's going to have a, in Australia, he's probably going to have a serviceable opponent. They like to give the crowd a show here in Australia and give them favourable matchups. So I don't expect his next fight to be much of a contendership fight or anything like that. But yeah, I don't know, man. If you look at some of his old fights, he was really just a one-dimensional wrestler with a little bit of jiu-jitsu. He's obviously just training with his dad, and kind of his dad was kind of guiding his whole MMA career. And I think he's kind of stepped out of that now, and he's kind of running his own shit. He's at a proper gym and doing what he needs to do. So yeah, we'll see what happens. He needs some
Yeah,
some management, definitely. Take some favourable fights above him, and we'll see what he's got, see what he
yeah,
can do.
Aussie, we saw Alex Morono, and Nico Price, and we'll talk about that fight later. But I can't see Matthews being anything other than guys like that. At 37, 38 years old, they're going to come out and throw, and it's going to be kind of fun, but they're never going to do anything other than that,
Ooh,
you know?
stepping on my point right there because I was gonna say, from the beginning, his striking has definitely gotten better. I think he's kind of hit a wall with his growth, and that's kind of one of the bad things of starting it so young in the UFC. You can only grow so much. But what I meant by stepping on the point was give him Morono and give him Morono in Perth. I think that's a great fight right there. Morono's gonna have a little bit of a submission offense to kind of counter some of the wrestling, and we'll get to the Morono fight. But
Morono lost though. You give him Price, wouldn't you?
yeah, but
Yeah, I hope they
yeah,
cut. I hope they
true.
cut Morono. Cut that guy.
Oh, we were talking too much on Morono now. We'll get there because I have a lot of rage coming for that one. Don't
It's
worry, boys.
coming. It's coming.
We'll get on to the next one. Um, yeah, Grant Dawson, Joseph Selecki. Man, so my wife doesn't usually watch the fights with me. Pay per view, I was supposed to be watching it with the homeboys, but ended up just staying at home, putting it on the TV. Wife watched it with me and said, "Yo, I don't know when was the last time I watched a full card. This fight sucks and I want to take a nap." And yeah, that's kind of exactly how I felt for this one. Grant Dawson cashes in a minus 550. Sorry for anybody who played that. Enjoy your $5. But over 2.5 rounds cashes at minus 160. Scrolling down, fight goes the distance minus 120. And then we go down to Dawson wins by decision plus 105. So at least you got a little bit of plus money on there. I hope somebody took that instead. But I don't know, man. We kind of knew that the ground game was somewhat gonna stall each other. Like I don't know, not even that. But Selecki wasn't gonna get subbed. Dawson wasn't gonna get finished either. Not much to say. Dawson had about what? Let me pull up the stats real quick. I'm gonna say he had about 12 and a half minutes of control
Oh,
time.
I think it was 14, man.
I'm
I
pulling it
doubt
up.
there was a
Bro.
minute on the feet.
13 and 46 seconds.
Wow.
So yeah, Grant Dawson. After the four legs cashed, I went ahead and put in a 5 leg Grant Dawson and the over pass on the first leg here. So that's all I got to say about that one. And Fuego.
This is one of those fights where you kind of watched it, and then at the end, you're wondering, what did we learn from this fight? Well, I think we all know, and we learned for sure that Joe Selecki is not UFC caliber. But has Grant Dawson improved after getting flatlined by Bobby Green? I mean, I don't know. It just seems like when he goes up a little bit in competition, he's struggling. But take take nothing away from the guy. He put on a great performance. I just think he put on a great performance against a guy that's not UFC caliber. Therefore, why I said I didn't really learn anything. I need him to fight a better guy. But the jury's out on Grant Dawson.
Yeah, no, we need to see somebody that can stop the takedown so we can see a little pushback and see more of his skills. Aussie.
Yeah, I actually shit the bed on this one. I had some Selecki submission at 13-1, and I had a bit of his KO at 23-1 or something stupid. But yeah, it was never live. I mean, there was nothing in this fight outside of that guillotine choke. I guess that kind of justified the 13-1 on the sub, just attempting that. But um, I mean, I don't. What we learned from this fight in Fuego was we don't want to see either of these guys fight a grappler again. That they should only be fighting strikers. I want to see him either get knocked out or dominate on the ground. Dawson does his best work when he's able to take someone's back. He was never able to pass Selecki's guard, and I think Selecki thought in his mind that was some kind of mental victory or something. Like, you're still going to lose that fight. You know, in that third round, Grant Dawson realized there was nothing this guy's doing defensively. He just kind of stood up, postured up, and just started landing shots. And it was a really bad fight. Yeah, 14 minutes on the ground, and the first two rounds, really almost nothing happened. I'm surprised the ref didn't stand it up. I think we would have got a better fight if we had a better ref. Yeah, I would have really liked to see some stand ups. Dawson wasn't doing enough to maintain that position. Selecki was doing nothing on the bottom. Yeah, crap fight. Neither of these guys, I don't think, are going to get a favourable matchup in the next fight because they stunk the joint up here. So yeah, that's it.
So back to our best friend Dave Torelli here. Don't really want to shit on him too much because I understand he scored a 30-27 for Grant Dawson. Another judge that we don't ever see, he's probably a local, who got a good amount of work last night was Billick. That's all his name is listed here. Billick, Bilek, Bilyk. He gave it 29-28 to Dawson, meaning that he gave that first round to Selecki. Just a simple exercise. What did y'all score that first round? Because the guillotine looked very deep. It was in there for a good while. He cut him open from the bottom, had him bleeding all over the place. Damage versus control. I remember looking at that fight and saying they're definitely gonna give it to fucking Dawson, but so only one person did more work from the bottom. And even my damn wife, who was a half asleep, said, "Hey, yo, did Selecki win that round? Y'all, what'd y'all score that one?"
Yeah, I remember saying at the time of the fights, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the round there. Or I thought maybe this is the round that's going to make it a split decision, but I'm not surprised that two. What'd you say? Two judges gave it to Dawson. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not surprised at all. Yeah,
yeah, two judges, 30-27. Only
I
Billy.
Well,
understand they
and
really haven't been scoring top control in fights. Like, you get a takedown in the last 50 seconds and do nothing, but this was 4 minutes. 4 minutes top
and
control means something.
Aussie, it wasn't like a copy loft situation. I mean, Grant Dawson was doing work. I mean, he was active on top, land and ground and pound. For every minute he was on top. You know what I mean? He wasn't just laying and praying. So I don't see how you could score it anything other than Grant Dawson 30-27. Not enough for a 30-26, but definitely 30-27.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the stats, 34 total strikes to six, in that first round. So yeah, I see what you're saying. 34. I mean, only seven of them were significant strikes, but I mean, 34 strikes to six plus 4 minutes or 4 minutes and 40 seconds top control. Yeah, yeah. I'm not surprised at all.
All right, on to the next one. On to the next one. No more Grant Dawson talk. We get to talk about one of my boys, the Brazilian Ninja Turtle, Jalton Almeida. Goes ahead and closes at minus 400 and looks like every bit of it. Maybe even looks like a minus freaking 600, something like that. Um, Over under was set at 1.5 rounds, -120 for the over, -110 for the under, which cashed. Fight goes the distance. Fight ends inside the distance, -350. No work there, right? Nobody wants to touch that. Um, Junior, Junior, why does it have him as Junior? Is that his real name? Jouton wins inside the distance, -250. Hate to see it. Hate to see it. Scrolling down, Almeida wins by submission, +145. Almeida wins in round one, +150. Down, down, down. Here we go. Almeida wins in round one by submission, +400. So there was a little bit of juice to squeeze right there when it comes to them odds. Um, I personally was just doing the parlays at this moment. To be completely transparent, I killed it on the parlays, got my ass whooped on the single plays. I think I only won a couple of them. Um, so I just had Jouton and the under on these parlays coming up. So Fuego, you got your hand up. What you got for me here?
I kind of took the approach in this fight that the first guy to get a takedown was going to win the fight. And I just looked at it as Almeida being the more athletic guy, that would shoot and go for that takedown. And that's what happened. But he was the much smaller as far as weight goes. But that's kind of just how my approach was. I'm not high on Romanov at all. And yeah, it worked out.
Aussie.
Yeah, I mean the Romanov experiment is over. This guy, he's not taking it serious, so we can't take him serious. Like Fuego was saying, I can see that angle. First takedown wins, but even if Romanov took him down, I think Almeida would have got back up. Lesser competition has got up against Romanov before. Um, Almeida, what can you say about this guy, man? Besides that blemish, or well, I guess two blemishes on his record, really, if you count that Derek Lewis fight. Um, he was totally wiping the floor with blades. I don't think he was going to be able to maintain that, nine takedowns every round kind of performance. But um, yeah, in this fight, I mean, yeah, it was easy work for him. It really was. He must be the least hit uh, UFC fighter for however many fights he's had. Like this guy never gets hit in fights. It's insane. He's up there. Must be up there
Oh,
with Kamzat. He probably beats Kamzat. Kamzat's been in a couple of tough fights now. But
it's
but this
funny you bring that up, Aussie. Sorry to cut you off.
no, you go,
The
man.
last fight ahead of the Curtis Blades, y'all know me. I was all over Jouton. I listed off. He has, I think, about four or five records in the UFC right now. I think one of them is like least punch, like you were saying, most top control percentage. Like he's got a couple of records in the UFC right now, and if the career keeps going the way it is,
Yeah,
I think he's going to rack them up even more.
he's probably got
How many
round
more?
one takedown record as well with nine.
How many more fights do you give Romanov in the UFC, Aussie?
Look, that's the thing. The UFC heavyweight's so bad that there's some wins for him, man. Like he can go in there and beat a lot of guys in the first round with these current heavyweights. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I can see if he has a really bad fight against someone like Dontel Mays and just gets pieced up in round two or three. Um, that they might cut this guy. I don't know how much they're paying him. I bet it's not. You know, it's not nothing. He's probably getting something decent after his first couple wins, but I'd be surprised if they cut him here. There's some really bad heavyweights out there, so just put him against them, and let's see if he can do something. Maybe he can
That's what I
light a
That's what I
spark
was
in
gonna
someone.
say. It's the sad part is Romanov isn't going anywhere. Bad enough to not be in the top 15. Man, shit, he might even break into the top 15. But good enough to work on some scrubs. Like if you give him either of the what are the brothers? Samoan brothers. Really bad takedowns.
Tafa. Oh man, put him
Rafa.
against Junior Tafa, and Tafa is getting forearm choked, dude.
Yeah, like I would honestly love to see Tafas get the knockout against him, but we kind of know what's gonna happen there. Um, Let's talk about my boy Jalton though, calling out Cyril Gahn for freaking what is it, France, Paris? Where are they at? Where are they gonna fight? I don't know, somewhere over there.
Good call
Um,
out. That's a good call out. Yeah.
Great call out. Do you think they give it to him? I think hell no, they don't.
No, I just think Gone. I it's not what we view Gone as. I think it's what Dana views him as, and I think Dana views him as the top echelon of heavyweights. And I don't know if I feel that way about Gone, but I think they view Almeida as just one step below Gone. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think they love Cyril Gahn. They love this guy, and I think that Almeida's a tough fight for him. Really, I think Almeida's going to probably take him down, and he could do what John Jones did to him. I could definitely see him take him down the first round and choking him out. Um, yeah, but see Almeida. Yeah, I mean, again, obviously in this fight, you're just picking him either submission or KO. I had the KO, unfortunately, but I did have a little bit of submission or KO in a couple of parlays that hit. Thank God.
I still don't forgive Almeida for what he did to me when I had him against Curtis Blades.
Oh, Swagger. Love to see you on the mic, brother. Cause you thank you for coming around, but don't bring up that fight, man. Nobody was more heartbroken than me. That was my first ever max bet, and
Me
really
too.
bit me in the ass.
Yeah, and I took it live, bro. I was like, bro, he's grappling him. He's gonna submit him. I thought he was gonna do what he did last night to Curtis, and I was sadly mistaken.
Oh yeah, you're hurting my feelings right now. Let's not shit on Jalton. Let's shit on Cyril Gahn. Another thing I'd like to say is like, man, is it just me or between the Tom Aspinall talk, it seems like Cyril Gahn's be picking his fights. So I think that's another reason why he doesn't want that Almeida fight. And if it gets offered, he'll get it turned down, or he'll turn it down because I don't know. What did he say? Tom Aspinall said that they offered it to him a couple of times, and Gon turned it down. We know Curtis Blades has offered it a couple of times, and Gon turned it down. There's no way Gon takes that fight. But if that's that, then we will move on to another Almeida. Almeida back to back, Almeida squared. Cesar Almeida versus Roman Kopylov was really. I even tally up the line flips on my Ghost of Split strat that's up there pinned, and it's not there today because when I was, or it's not there, it wasn't written down because when I did get all these odds, they were back to even minus 110, minus 110. But I did put it in the results because come fight time, Almeida was the favorite. And even here, it's listed minus 115, minus 105. Sorry to anybody who took the unders. The strat said that it was going to go over on the 1.5 when it was over 1.5 earlier in the week. It said it was going to go over on the 2.5 when it finally moved there towards the before fight time. Over 2.5, minus 120. Fight goes the distance, plus 130. Got a little bit of action there. And then Kopylov wins by decision plus 375. Personally, I was one of those that was thinking that Almeida was going to find a KO. He's this guy, Kopylov was going to strike with him. Last minute, I just really pulled the audible and said, Roman's probably just a lot more skilled. He's more well rounded. I'll hit the Roman money line at minus 105, and we hit the over on a parlay. But besides that, props to Kopylov. He had to reach in his bag. Towards the end of that fight, it looked like he was getting outstruck pretty badly, and he did what he had to. So showed some IQ, showed a couple more skills in his game. So can't say nothing bad about Kopylov. He did what he had to do. Better, we're gonna go with you first, and then pass it over to Ozzy, brother. Nice to see you. Can anybody hear better, or am I
No,
just not
I was just
hearing
about
you?
to say I can't hear him either.
I cannot hear him
Okay,
either.
can you hear me now?
Oh, we got you,
Better.
brother. Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, it's these headphones. But yeah, man,
Better
that's one of my
go ahead
proud
and drop
moments.
that mic, bro. Get out of the chat. Come back in. You got a spot. Aussie.
Oh yeah, could you not hear better times just then? It sounded like you came back.
Oh no, I can't hear him at
Okay, if
all.
you can't hear him, yeah, you better jump out better and come back in, mate. Um,
He's out. He's out. He'll be back.
yeah, this was a disappointing moment for me, man. I had 6 units on Almeida. I was so confident. I haven't been this confident in a fight since I had 10 units on Gagey last time out. So if that tells you anything,
Oh,
I got to stop these fucking money line bets, man. I tell you, I'm not good at picking these money line bets. But Almeida, man, I don't know. He got a round, right? I was jumping up and down for a second. I thought he was going to get a robbery, but it would have been a robbery in my eyes if he had got that decision. I think Kopolov fought excellent. I wasn't expecting it for him. He showed me nothing in his previous fights to make me think he was capable of doing this. Almeida, I don't know. He didn't even scoot to try to get to the fence to get up. He didn't risk giving up his back to get up. He didn't really show any urgency on the ground. I was really surprised. And come that third round, I mean, Kopolov just knew I can take this guy down whenever I need to, and that's what he did. He fought well. It's good to know going forward that Kopolov's got that in his back pocket. You know, he can if he's not getting his way on the feet, or if you think he's in a matchup where he might need to get takedowns, he's got that in his back pocket. So yeah, it's at least we know it's something to help us in our capping moving forward.
hey, you almost got the robbery, man. Looking at the scorecards, we had Chris Lee actually give it to him 29-28 with the second and third round. And Eric Colon gave him the second round, but the score was 29-28 Kopylov. So uh, sometimes the dice don't just roll in your favor. Better. Let me see if I can hear you, brother.
Can y'all hear me?
Got you, got you.
All right, those are my headphones. I don't know what's wrong. But yeah, man, that was a proud moment for me. So I called that fight like 100% what was going to happen. I said Roman Kopylov is going to have the speed advantage early. The pressure is going to get to him, and he's going to fucking use the wrestling. Man, I felt like a genius watching that fight. But yeah, I got the live on that too. I put a little on Almeida in the beginning though, because it was looking like that pressure was getting to him. But then as soon as the third round started, I saw what was happening. Got it back on Kopylov.
Beautiful, beautiful. I can't lie with the knowledge that I had and seeing that you, Max, Gabe, and a couple others were on Kopylov for this fight. I said, "Oh, fuck my Cesar Almeida bet. I ain't gonna put it on that. I'll just hit the over and I'll hit a money line, straight bet on Kopylov, and let's see how it goes." In Fuego.
Yeah, I had Almeida too, so not a proud moment. But what I was going to ask is, do you guys? Am I the only one that watches these fights and wonders how such a high level fighter like Cesar Almeida can be and just be so deficient in one area? You know, the guy sits and trains all fucking day to be a professional fighter, and he still looks horrible in one specific area of a fight. It just blows my mind. Am I the only one that watches that and wonders how the hell can that be?
Well, no, because he had good takedown defense against other fighters. I said this in the breakdown. Like Roman Karpov, he's not just this guy that has a new toy that he's just learning to play with. He learned how to use the grappling the right way, and he used it the right way against Almeida, especially not taking him down by the fence and just holding him down, like basically just being top heavy. He was making it very hard for Almeida to get up where the other fighters couldn't because they didn't really time it well. Kopylov had really good timing with his takedowns. He got him right when Almeida was trying to strike, so he wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah, better. I respect you, man, but Caesar didn't look like he defended a takedown his entire life. That's just what I saw.
Yeah,
But hey,
well,
congrats on your play, brother. Congrats on your play.
I was gonna back up better and say that there was some really good timing on the takedowns. There was one in the third round specifically where the timing was good, but goddamn, it was very telegraphed. It was from very far away, and Almeida at that point was probably just too tired. And I think it also depends on what he's training on. Somebody like an Almeida or an Alex Pereira, I don't think they need to be training on their striking when they come over to MMA. They know how to strike. They're glory kickboxing champions. That's second nature. You need to be 100% drilling defense, takedown defense, takedowns offense. You know what I mean? And take a little note from Kopylov. He actually went to Dagestan to go train his wrestling, I believe. Um, in the group chat, I had said not everybody is Alex Pereira, and what I meant by that was I think Almeida, what his plan was, oh man, I got taken down. Let me just 100% secure the damn offensive copy love. Don't let him get anything off, and we're gonna get stood up. And he tried that. He probably had the most success there in the first round, but he's not Pereira. He didn't tie everything up correctly. He wasn't able to just completely lock down the offense, and Kopylov was able to just land a 1-2 punches just to keep that top position, and that bit him in the ass because he ends up just being a dude laying on his back, not doing anything. Aussie.
Yeah, so I remember back in the day, Mirko Krokop, he used to, he was such a serviceable kickboxer, really good kickboxer, K1 and everything. And he ended up with some of the best takedown defense in the heavyweight division. He was defending takedowns against really good guys. And he said he doesn't train stand up anymore. He only does stand up for cardio. Everything else is defending takedowns and getting back to your feet. And that's what these guys need to do. Especially like you look at the other way, some of these jujitsu guys, you should not be on the mat unless you're wrestling. You know what I mean? Don't put on your gi. Don't sit in your guard. If you're Joe Selecki, all you should be training is takedowns, 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 and stand up. That's it. The other stuff is there. Use that for your cardio, and yeah, everything else should be what you're worst at. You got to get back to your feet. You have to, and the crowd loves it. The judges love it. The UFC loves it. Get back to your feet and start banging, and that's what this guy needs to do. I don't want to see him in the cage in the next 6 months. He should be just drilling, 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 and that's it.
Yeah, they say old dogs can't learn new tricks, man. I think that when these fighters come in at an older age, you're still young in the sport and you have the ability to learn new tricks. You just got to be make sure you're drilling to learn them new tricks.
And he's
You
like
can't be.
36 now, right? Like
Yeah, he's
36 or something.
36.
Yeah, yeah. It's over for
So
him, unfortunately.
at middleweight, I mean, I still have some hope that if he does the right things, he can learn some takedown defense. But he's got to be doing the right things. Spent too much time on that one. We're good. We'll move on to the next fight. I believe we're getting into the main card, right? Yeah. Randy Brown versus Alizu Zaleski dos Santos. Randy Brown closes at a -175, and that cashes. Over was set at 2.5 rounds, -130. Fight goes the distance, -115. Once again, we see the trend of just looking at these odds and knowing exactly what the book is saying is going to happen. Brown wins by decision, +175. That second round got a little dicey with Zaleski being able to find the back and hold on some control time. But Brandy Brown did a good job. I know he's asking for Jeff Neal. He's wanting to move up in the game and better. I might step on something you're gonna say because I know you said it. It does, or you said it in the breakdown. It does look like he's taking it a little bit more serious, and then now he wants to step up in his game. Um, Good, happy to see it. Good performance. You got the win. Let's see where he goes from here. And Fuego, and then better.
Yeah, I have a couple takeaways. I want to vent for a second. I played Dos Santos because I I think Randy Brown is an excellent hammer and he's a terrible nail. And I think Dos Santos is just a good fighter. And I want to say that those eye pokes in the first round really impacted that first round. Now, I'm not saying that Randy Brown wasn't winning the round, but they definitely had an impact on the round. Because Dos Santos, you could see coming back towards the end, the last 2 minutes of each round. And what I'll say is in the third round, I just wish he would have gotten the takedown earlier. He was on his back for what, the last minute? We needed to see that earlier in the last round. So I'm a little bitter. I thought Dos Santos was the right play, and I fucked it up.
Better.
Another proud moment, man. I told y'all. Look, man, it was it. Like I said, look, even though that fight was short against Solikov, you can see, like, if you just look at his eyes, you can see how serious he was taking this fight, and he looked the same way going up against Dos Santos. Now, I knew the grappling was going to be a little dicey, but I knew he had good defense. He showed that early on, which is why Trinaldo couldn't really get the better of him when he was grappling him. But that is still something he needs to work on. If he gets to the top ranked, they're going to take him down, and they're going to be better at holding him down. But other than that, his striking looked good. Did y'all see that spinning wheel kick he took? That was a clean one. I think it hit him almost in the back of the head. Took it and kept going. I'm telling you, this man is going to be a problem. As long as he just works on that defensive grappling, I think he can make it to at least the top 10, top 5. But I gotta go. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate you for coming around. Better appreciate you for. Oh wait, one question. I don't know if you have enough time.
What's up?
I just gotta ask. Were you scared when you saw Zaleski with the shaved head and no facial hair? Because that boy looked hell of a lot younger, and I said, "Oh, he's on the acai."
No, I already knew how he fought, so I knew how the fight was gonna go down. I had no worries about that.
Gotta love the confidence. I see.
Yeah, better times is the man. He goes in there holding his stick. He's got crazy confidence when he's placing bets, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good to see. But yeah, I had Brown round 3 or decision here. Besides that back control, yeah, I wasn't really too nervous. Uh, but what Frager was saying about the eye poke too, that was kind of towards the end of the round, right? And then the 30 seconds after that eye poke when the action came out, that was all Randy Brown. And just like the judges, I don't really remember what much of what happened before that. You know, they just kind of remember that last 30 seconds, and that was where Randy pretty easily was winning that last 30 seconds, no problems. But yeah, not like a really high level fight. I thought Zaleski, yeah, I mean, the odds probably reflected the outcome. Um, if he was going to get it done, it was when he had his back in that second round. Uh, there's still fights for Zaleski to be made. You know, he's still a good fighter. He's an exciting fighter. But if you watch his tape or look at his record, even some of his wins, you know, like jumping knees, spinning back kicks, that there's a lot of meme finishes there. You take away those meme finishes, and these fights go the distance at a high clip.
Aussie, I'll just say that there were two eye pokes in the first round, and the referee just did not handle them well. You got to give the fighter time to recover, and they were clear pokes. And now I'm not saying that Randy Brown wasn't winning that round. I'm not saying that he wouldn't have won the round. I'm just saying it impacted those minutes. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and how about these new gloves? Like they're meant to prevent this shit. We had 20 fucking eye pokes on this card. It was crazy. Yeah, these gloves, I don't know, they're not it.
Man, all I'll say is the most interesting part was I would have loved to see a mic or a camera on Herb Dean talking to that ref, because I know I was flipping out saying like, yo, this guy just got poked in the eye. You give him 10 seconds and you're forcing him to go out there and fight. Like that's not the rules. That's not how this goes. You're supposed to let the fighter come in when he's ready, or at least the 5 minutes of timeout expire. What the fuck are you doing? And supposedly Herb Dean gave him some talking to in between rounds, but yeah, I wish I would have been able to see that. But yeah, I don't think. I mean, he got poked pretty bad, but I think the fight went exactly how we expected it to. Anything else on this one, guys? No, no. Okay, cool. I get to get real fucking pissed off because like I said, I cashed two parlays early on the first four. Then I went ahead and parlayed the next five, and at this point, we're four legs down, one to go. And even though I told y'all on Tuesday, it's over. It's over one and a half. This is a gift. Morono isn't gonna finish. Morono is going to. He's going to drag this out. He always does it. My dumbass doesn't take the over one and a half and takes just Morono money line. And, well, we know how that goes. Let's talk about some of these odds. Nico Price cashes at plus 230. Gotta love that. If anybody was on it, like I said, the over and under was set at 1.5. Over 1.5 was -180. Fight goes the distance. We got some plus money there at plus 165. And then scrolling down to price wins by decision. Are you ready for this? Plus 650. Big old fuck you. It even gave me the opportunity to hedge out if I wanted to. And screw me. Can't say it more than enough. Anybody want to say something about this?
Hell yeah, I'll say something. So Morono is old, right? We know that. But
Honestly,
Nick,
I don't think he's that old. I think we've just
I
seen
think
him. I
he's,
think he's only like 32 or 31.
I thought he was like 37, 36. Am I wrong?
No, let me pull it up. Go ahead,
Maybe
talk.
he's one of these guys that fucking looks old, right? Anyway, we Nico Price is washed. He's beyond washed, right? And I saw this fight so clear in my mind. Alex Morono's going to go around for 15 minutes and he's going to jab the shit out of Nico Price's face. And he's just going to jab and move and jab and move because Nico can't move his head anymore. And he may even get knocked out in the third round. And we saw in the first round, that's exactly what was happening. Nico's head getting popped back. He has no movement. His head movement's not good. And then literally over the next 10 minutes, Alex Morono shits the goddamn bed because he didn't train. He's fat and out of shape. He didn't train. He didn't run. He didn't do anything. And I think he was simply in there to get some money. And I wish a guy like Alex Morono would have told me that uh, because I had the fight so clearly set in my mind. And this fucking guy didn't even do any road work. And I've never been so agitated at a fighter in the entire 2024 season. Anyway,
So
rant over.
So Morono is only 33, and I'll jump in on the end of that gas tank conversation, but I'm gonna let Aussie go first.
Oh, we were probably going to say the same thing. I think he took this fight on what, 4 weeks' notice. I'd say
Yes, I
that
believe so. I
explains.
want to say
Yeah.
3, but with 7 weeks between his last fight against Court McGee, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. Terrible performance though. I mean, definitely didn't look like he was going to cover that money line. Um, well, I don't know. I think it was. He shouldn't have taken the fight. Really, if that was the performance he could put out, he shouldn't have taken that fight. Um, he came out looking like he had a 5 minutes in him. Like Fuego was saying. And if a guy like, if a guy like what's his name, Price, if a guy like Nico Price is outpacing you in that third round, you got trouble.
You know, Aussie, I went as far as to say that given that it was a pay per view and on a main card, that Dana should really consider cutting the guy. That's how terrible that guy looked last night. I
You
haven't
know,
seen a worse performance.
it's surprising because they put that fight on the main card and took the Gelton Almeida fight off. So it was on the prelims, and then they switched it like fight week. They switched it, which was strange to me because I thought no one was really calling for this rematch to begin with, and I think Gelton Almeida is more popular than both of those guys put together. So yeah, a bit surprising.
You know, the best part about it, though, is we're going to get to fade Nico Price again. The worst part about it
Yeah,
is we're going to watch Nico Price in a fucking fight again. But we are going to get another fade on Nico Price's face when he gets tore up.
yeah. Well, good for. I think it's good. He got his win bonus finally. He's got his seventh kid on the way. This guy's crazy. So yeah, he needs the money for sure. Joe's here.
So, right before I hand it off to Joe, yeah, it was exactly 7 weeks since his last fight against Court McGee on April 6th. And what I was gonna say about the gas tank issues was, I think this is something that we can take and put it on our rule book, put it in our lesson book. When we see a fighter, like I know we've seen Kevin Holland and Lupe Godinez do this, win 1 week and then want to come back next week or in 2 weeks, hey, that's okay. That's in the green zone to go ahead and bet them. But a 7 week difference, it just gives you way too much opportunities to slack off. Maybe your body, like, overtraining is a real thing. You got to that peak for your first fight, and now you just you coming back and training hard is gonna put you in the overtraining mode because Alex Morono looked great that first round. He was beating the shit out of Nico Price. But I texted I told in the group chat, I was like, yo, easy round for Morono, but he looks dead fucking tired. And I don't even want to say he was fat because he always comes in flabby like that. Yeah, I think that 7 weeks is just in that red zone of like there's way too much shit that could go wrong. You overtrain, you undertrain, you didn't get enough time to get fucking your road work in. Like just too much fucking space for shit to go wrong. And personally, as somebody who was always touching on Morono because I like the guy. He's from Texas and everything. He's dead to me now, but
Hey,
I don't
but
want to make excuses.
wasn't it funny how even fucking DC was cutting on him? You know, if a way out of shape DC is telling you that you're out of shape and look terrible, then you look terrible.
Yeah, I mean, but and we expect gas tank issues in the third round, but like for him, like he didn't even make it out of the first round fucking fresh. At the end of that first round, I was already worried.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks dead fucking tired.
On the stool, he looked terrible after the first round. Like they were trying to motivate him because he looked so terrible.
Joe, my brother, you got a mic. What's going on? It's hot.
What's happening, bud? Nice to see everybody. I fucking love this space. I'm not gonna do much talking. I just wanted to comment and said that Almeida's fight got moved to the prelims as a compliment, not as a downgrade or an upgrade for the other fight. Almeida got moved down because they expected it to be a big finish. Probably expected it to be, real fast too. Um, yeah, they bumped him up because they try to have a banger close the prelims when they go into a pay per view.
Yeah, but that didn't close the prelims, did it? That was like what closed the
Nah, it
prelims?
was a Kopylov Almeida
I
that
thought
closed the
Yeah,
prelim.
yeah,
Kopilov Almeida closed the prelims.
yeah.
Oh
That's right.
shit!
Yeah.
I thought it was that one. You're right. My bad. I don't know. I would still credit it to the same thing that they were trying to build that undercard to sell that fucking pay per view. Yeah, that would just be my opinion. It doesn't mean that it's true.
Joe,
No, I mean,
tell us what you think of Alex Morono's performance, Joe.
I think if anybody expected Alex Morono to do anything, except for exactly what he did, which is exactly what we said he would do on Tuesday, I don't know what you were watching or what you were like. I just don't know why you would expect anything else. He fought exactly the fight he was supposed to. He looks old. He looks beat up. He looks past his prime. That's what he is. We already knew that. It's not a surprise. We already knew that. We knew that before the fight fucking started. We knew.
No one thought he was more washed than Nico Price, though, right?
There's no
Listen,
way.
listen. You guys have to understand. For his past 5 fights, Nico Price is a marker. You're washed. You're washed. You're done. It's over for you. We're going to put you in a banger ish, possible maybe fight with Nico Price if you two can stand there and throw at it. But Nico Price is the marker, bro. If you're fighting Nico Price at this point, you're washed. You're washed.
Hey,
the
Joe,
the gatekeeper to Washville.
Joe, do you know how bad Nico Price is? That Alex Morono looked like a zombie from Walking Dead in the last 2 rounds, and Nico Price still couldn't knock the corpse of Alex Morono out.
Bro, go back to the Vicente fight. It's been that ever since. That it's I'm
Yeah,
it, he is a bro, they both fought the exact fight they were supposed to. I like that was a fight I told everybody bet the over 1-5, bet the over 2-5, bet the fight goes the distance. It was on my list. It whatever that shit was easy cat, and they looked exactly how they're supposed to. Um, I feel like the UFC is getting to the point now where we're starting to see fighters be able to make the UFC give them the fights that they owe them. You think they really wanted to fight Nick Diaz? He's a fight night. Nobody gives a fuck about him at this point.
did
But they owe him fights. So either we give you a fight under the UFC banner, or we let PFL sign Nick Diaz, which he's washed. He's, like we all know what it is, but PFL is going to push him to the fucking moon in his later years, right? And try to get 2 or 3 fights out of him, just for the fame. And if the UFC lets all these guys go, even Tony Ferguson, if the UFC lets all these guys go, all that name value will shift and that will become a big problem for them. So we now get to see guys like Nico Price, Alex Morono, Nick Diaz, Tony Ferguson. Now look at the UFC and go, hey, motherfucker, you owe me fights. Put me in there. So yeah, I think that you just have to start looking for like what I'm gonna call the League of Legends or whatever you would say. You just got to start looking for that within the UFC and understand that it is there. That there is a league of old guys that are going to fight the old guys within the league, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, I like that. I like that much more than making stepping stones out of all these guys. Let them fight each other. I don't have a problem with that. I just don't want to see them fighting these young bloods coming up.
100%.
Oh,
If I'm sorry,
Aussie and Joe stepping all over the Tuesday topics, man. Y'all know I was gonna rant about this shit too.
and I'm sorry to go on about it, bro. I just, yeah, it's whatever. It is what it is. We'll go on about that a little bit on Tuesday too, I'm sure. But um, it's nice to see them fight each other and not, like Ozzy was saying, not get fucking absolutely eaten up by young guys. And let's be honest, if Nick Diaz gets a W and looks even okay, and Tony Ferguson gets a W and looks even okay, we're gonna see Nick Diaz and Tony Ferguson fight each other. So like, just whatever, fuck it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna bitch. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say this fight shouldn't have happened. I'm gonna do everything that everybody does to the Mike Tyson boxing match. But then you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tune in. So fuck it. I can't wait.
Y'all already got my shirt off. Come on, man. We're pumping the brakes on the Nick Diaz, Tony Ferguson stuff till Tuesday. Last thing I'll say is I think Joe was right about them moving Jalton down to the prelims because of the name and the finish and all that. As for the Cesar Almeida thing closing out the prelims, I think they really expected these two kickboxers to beat the shit out of each other and put on a barn burner. But Roman Kopylov wanted to dig in his takedown bag. And hey, I mean the Nico Price Moreno fight, it wasn't bad. Yeah, I'm not gonna make too many excuses for it. Uh, at least they fought, right? At least they fought. On to the next one. Kevin Holland, Michael Oleksiejczuk, man. Kevin Holland closes as a minus 280. Over under was set at 1.5 rounds. Under 1.5 cashes at plus 118. This is one of those where I did think it was going to go over. And I was screaming at the TV saying, the arm ain't broke. Let him fight, you fuck. But hey, it happens. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 260. Holland wins inside the distance, minus 165. Holland wins by submission, plus 210. I saw a lot of people on it, and I was thinking, man, I really don't think Oleksiejczuk is going to go to the ground. I don't think Holland is going to be initiating takedowns. I don't know how y'all getting this submission, but props to y'all, because I was the one that looked like an idiot. Holland wins in round one, plus 245. And then scrolling down to Holland wins round one submission. Where are you? Plus 600. So there was a lot of plus money to get on this fight if you read it the right way. Only thing I'll say is hey, fucking happens, man. Feel bad for Oleg Sashek. Whether his arm was broken or not, dislocated or not, the dude wanted to keep fighting, and he was lifting it and bending it after the fight. So feel bad for him. I like Michael Oleksiejczuk. Just one of those fighters who I don't think is gonna ever go anywhere, up or down. More than likely down, but I just like the guy. Aussie, then pass it to Joe.
Yeah, I loved this spot for Holland. I had a bet on him. Thank God he's got that sub because I got 4 units off that after losing 6 on Almeida, so that really stopped the bleeding a little bit. Um, broken arm though, man. I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen these fucking reps call that TKO. I didn't see him tap. You know, so we've seen him do that before. So I was a little bit nervous, but yeah, he gets it done. You can't count on this guy to fight smart, but he's always got a clear path against guys like this. And I can't even remember how they got to the ground. Right? I don't think it was from a takedown. I think it was from just some scramble happened or something. Um,
No, Oleg Sashik lands a right hand right on the temple and knocks down Kevin Holland, then jumps into his guard with one arm. He jumped into the damn guard in an arm bar. It was disappointing. My bad.
okay, yeah. Well, there you go. So yeah, I mean, he could have always just taken him down and this got the same result, but he was always going to take the hardest route to a victory. That's kind of what he does. So I'm happy that I got that. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, Holland, I don't know. He's good. He is good. He doesn't always fight smart, but yeah, he finds a way to get it done, and he got it done here. Thank God. Because if he had a loss to this guy, it would have been the worst loss on his record. It really would have been. So yeah, that's it for me.
Joe.
Um, so I just a little bit different of an angle. If you are a fight fan, a real fight fan, like this is fucking fighting. This is goddamn fighting. Um, that's dead, guys. That's over. That's dead. That's not a thing no more. And I seen the nails in the coffin on Saturday night when the referee stopped the fight before the fighter stopped the fight. Um, and then when the fighter who won the fight gave an interview in a post fight presser, um, or I'm sorry, when the owner of the company gave the interview in a post fight presser, he told a story about how the guy who won the fight was saying to him, I didn't want to break his arm. I tried not to break his arm, but he just wouldn't tap. What the fuck do you mean you didn't want to break his arm? He didn't fucking
Thank
tap.
you.
What the fuck are you talking about? This is goddamn fighting. What the fuck are you talking about, Kevin Holland? And Kevin Holland will never, ever, ever be a champion. It will never happen. And he proved that with that comment. And fighting is fucking dying. That's it. That's my rant.
No, yeah. I want to hear that Noguera fucking arm, shoulder pop out of the fucking socket with the damn
I want
Kimura.
proof this
I
arm
want
is
to.
broke, bro. I want proof.
Oh, it's not broke. It's not broke. I personally don't think it's
I
broke. He
know
was
it's not
bending it
broke, bro. It's
like
fucking
that's that,
injured. It's not broken.
and that's the shitty part. Like, was Oleksiejczuk going to get out? More than likely not. You let him tap, but when you stop the fight, he was turning back into the damn armbar to try and alleviate some of the space. Uh, it was, and I'm not even talking about my over 1.5 bet. It was just very disappointing to be like, Oleg Sejcik was still in that fucking fight. In Fuego, then pass it off to Grappler.
Yeah, but Usman, Big John McCarthy cleared that up today. That's the rule: is if he sees the manipulation of the joint in that it's a dislocation or break, it's the rule that he has to stop the fight. It doesn't matter if he tapped or not. So I just wanted to I clear that up. That's what the ref has to do.
And my only pushback towards that is that there are some real freaks out here that were born, and I'm using freak loosely, that were fucking double jointed as a motherfucker. Hey, I'm not nothing special, but I know fucking back when I was doing jujitsu, nobody could heel hook me. And you know what? It's because if I fucking turn my ankles inwards, I can pop everything in my damn leg. Some people just, it happens. It happens. You know what I mean? Like, if like Joe said, I want to see proof that something was broken. Because if nothing was broken, then that sucks. And a ref just stopped it because he thought it looked ugly, and that's just super fucking lame.
Well, let me
Uh,
ask you this though. Follow on. Did you feel the same about Jamal Hill?
Technically,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
man,
goddamn
fucking,
right. I did.
yeah. Jamal Hill was there throwing hammer fist. Let that. Did it look ugly that the arm was flapping as much as the other one was to throw hammer fist? Yeah, but the boy was still in there fighting.
No, fuck that. I
That,
had I
but
had the bear juice sub there, man. That should have paid.
and that's what I was gonna say. That was also in a weird world that we live in. Bearju has a knockout TKO win over Jamal Hill because of that. Grappler, go ahead.
I just want to real quick say within 30 seconds, Holland showed why I can never bet him and why I can't fade him. That's really all I got for that. Nothing else to say.
Hey, that's the perfect. He hates the Holland, and he's gonna probably say the same thing, right? Don't bet him, don't fade him, fuck him.
Right.
All right, we'll go on to this next one. Co-main event time. One of those where I just kind of stroked my ego and saying that this was one of those where I broke it down pretty damn perfectly. I said if Paulo was gonna win, he was gonna have to be the one that pressed forward and take away the space. Sean Strickland cannot be fighting on the back foot if he wants to win. He's really got to put all the offense out there and make Paulo think. Am I proud of that? Fuck no, because god damn, that was a boring fight. Sean Strickland cashes at minus 250. Over under was set at 4.5 rounds. Cashes at minus 115 for the over. Fight goes the distance plus 105. Scrolling down to Strickland wins by decision plus 145. Um, yeah. Paulo had some okay moments here and there where he actually did push it, but to me, it was looking like it was a 50-45 Strickland. If we want to talk about the drama, Dave Torelli scores at 49-46 for Paulo Costa. It's one thing to maybe give him the 3 rounds and give him the scorecard. To give him 4 rounds is absolutely bananas. Who's got their hands up? Joe, go ahead and take it while I look at these
So
scorecards.
I absolutely knew the moment I heard that scorecard. And I looked at the homies that were here. I posted it on my fucking Twitter. I knew the moment I heard that scorecard. These judges have been telling us all night. If Dustin Poirier makes it to decision, he's winning the fucking belt. They have been telling us all fucking night that that is what is going to happen. And going into the fifth, two judges had it 2-2, motherfucker. That's all I'm going to say. I'm done with both of
I
them.
think it was one judge, right?
No, only one judge, Joe.
Oh, Dana White said at the post fight presser that two judges had it 2-2.
Yeah, Dana's getting
Yeah.
old, brother. Dana's
Gotcha.
getting old.
I never looked at the cards. I took Dana's word for it.
So just to go back to the scorecards, Torelli gave Costa the first 4 rounds, which means 20 minutes of the fight. He thought Costa was winning. Jesus fucking shit! Like, pardon my French, but God, that's ridiculous. And Fuego.
Yeah, didn't he give Raposo a round or a 29-28 as well in that first?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yes. So
Jesus. You
so I
want to
have
talk
it all
about?
here.
Yeah, I mean that might be that Costa scorecard might be the worst scorecard in the history of mixed martial arts, to be honest with you. But anyway, what I was going to ask you guys was, do you want to see a Pereira Strickland again? I kind of feel like Strickland was overlooking Pereira, and now he wouldn't be. I'd love to see a part two on that fight. Is anybody with me?
Nah, man, I have to give you the thumbs down on that one. Um, Pereira is just one of those guys that. So when I looked at the fight, I said the funny thing about this is that Strickland has the perfect counter style for Adesanya, but they both have the exact same fucking issues that make them lose, and it's forward pressure, it's straight shots. A lot of Strickland's attacks are linear attacks right down the middle. And even when he throws wide, they're very looping. If you just get in his face, it takes away all weapons from him. That's why Duplessis had some the best moments against him. Pereira is just going to be able to know the distance and then strike in whenever what's his name Strickland comes in. I think we see Pereira win that like 10 times out of 10. Joe.
Just a quick comment that we've seen a big change in Sean since he lost to AP and went and trained with him. So I would think that those improvements, a lot of them would be null and void because Sean accredited AP to teaching him a lot in the time they spent together. So I would just say that AP probably big brothers him.
Aussie, did you have something on this one?
Yeah, unfortunately, I had some Costa decision. I got it at 12 to 1. I got a really good price, but even then, when I heard that one judge read his name, I was like, did they fucking mess this up? Like, did they just call the wrong fighter's name? Does this judge know who was who? It was a bit strange, but I would have loved it if that got up, man. I would have loved it. It would have been nice. 12 units. Um, sorry, 12 to 1 would have been great. But yeah, Costa, I don't know what he was doing, man. As soon as he got in the center, he started circling. Like, that is not how you fight Strickland. You do not let him know he can be the one walking forward. He should have met him in the center of the cage and never left that fucking monster logo. And if Sean wanted to bang it out, he should have banged it out with him. He probably wins that fight more often than not. But if you're going to dance around the cage and think you're going to outpoint Strickland, like, I don't know what his game plan was. I'm assuming that's what it was. Terrible game plan, if that's the fact. I don't know, man. I would rather see Vittori against Sean Strickland than this guy. Vittori's not going to circle the cage like that. He's going to meet him in the center of the cage and bang it out or take him down, do something. Costa didn't show that he was willing to do anything in that fight. Really surprising, but whatever. He's just never going to get to that top echelon. He's not. And, he had too much time off, contract disputes, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I think his days are numbered, to be honest.
Yeah, so especially with this show, I think transparency is key. I always try to bring y'all exactly what happened to me, how the night went. Started off really hot, cashed those two parlays. I said I really shit the bed with the straight plays. Um, I think it was Roman Kopylov money line, Eileen Perez decision, and then Randy Brown, I think, money line. But besides that, my degenerate ass had action on every single fight, and the straights really kicked my ass. When it came down to these last two fights, I'm up 2 units, and I said, "Fuck it, let's just end even, or we're gonna make big money." I put a unit on Paulo Costa's money line. I put a unit on Dustin Poirier's money line, and we ended absolutely where we started. Fun night of gambling, I guess. The only thing I'll add on top of that was Paulo Costa's come out and said, "Oh, you're gonna see that killer. You're gonna see that guy that's gonna come out and push the pace. I'm taking opponents' heads off from now on. I'm sorry for that performance." When I start hearing shit like that,
Laughable.
fade, 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 fade. Like, I do not like hearing that you're now bending into other people's wishes because you had a very bad fucking game plan and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go back to the old me. You don't know what that old you is, and now you're gonna get even more confused. Yeah, I don't like hearing that Paulo said that.
And you can't tell me that he's going to be capable of it in the first round of his next fight if he wasn't in the last round of his last fight. Like, all he had to do
For
was move
sure.
forward. He didn't. He just circled, and terrible. He can't beat any of these top guys like that. He's not going to out technical strike any of these guys.
What do we want for Strickland next? Is it title
Listen,
shot
this
time?
is 100%. If Whitaker wins, if Whitaker beats Kamzat, I think Strickland gets the shot. If Kamzat beats Whitaker, I think Kamzat gets the shot. I don't see him letting Whitaker winning and then Whitaker getting a shot. I don't see it.
So we know that it's supposed to be Duplessis versus Adesanya. Um, Strickland, I think, deserves it more. Uh, I would honestly love to see fucking Strickland versus Whitaker, man. I think that'd be a great fucking fight, but who knows what the fuck they're gonna do.
Hey, did it kind of blow your mind that DC and who was with DC besides Anik? Oh, Rogan. They kept talking about Sean Strickland cutting the cage off, and I'm sitting there thinking that's not how Sean Strickland fights. What the hell are you two watching? He doesn't cut off the cage. His goal is not to back his opponent up against the fence and hammer the guy. It's to just put constant pressure on, follow him around, and land when he can. These guys just blow my mind sometimes when I'm watching these fights.
I mean, I think that's just their job of trying to break it down for the casual and let them know what should be happening because you're right, that's not his style, but that is what he should have been doing. I mean, if he wanted to cut him off, corner him, and then throw a bunch of shots. Like, that's not the wrong advice, but yes, you're right, that's not what he
Well, and the
does.
other thing they're trying to do is lure live bets in on the guy that's losing, but that's a whole other story.
Won't disagree with you on there. Um, On to the final fight. It's main event time. Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier. Uh, Islam closes minus 500. We saw a lot of line movement in those last couple of minutes before the fight. I don't know if y'all saw it. 600 to minus 425, minus 450, then back up to minus 500 to close it off. And Islam cashes the minus 500. Going down. Over was set at 2.5. Over 2.5 was plus 110. Fight ends inside the distance minus 700. Nobody wanted to touch that, right? Going down to submission. Where are we at? Sorry. Makachev wins inside the distance minus 305. Still do not want to touch that. Makachev wins by submission minus 140. I know there were some people that went ahead and hit that because hey, at least it hit and it was a highly likely outcome, right? Going down to where are we at? Where are we at? Makachev wins in round 5 plus 1,400. That was a good opportunity for some big bucks. And then Makachev wins in round 5 by submission plus 2,200. One of those lines where even though I had definitely thought it wasn't going to go past round 5 or past round 4 at least. Hey, you see them odds, you hit them odds. Aussie,
Yeah, this was kind of my saving grace on the card. I needed the main event to end in submission just to cash the 34-1 multi I had. I also had some decent bets on takedowns. I had um, one bet for Makhachev to get a takedown and to win at minus 200, which was really just moving his money line from minus 600 to minus 200 because he wasn't going to win without getting a takedown. And also had him to get two takedowns and a win at slight plus money. And I think I even had him to get four takedowns at one stage for like plus 290 or something. But yeah, this fight was played out kind of how I thought it would, but took a lot longer than I thought it would, if you know what I mean. Poirier really fought to the best of his ability. And say what you want about staph infections and all this, man. Poirier put up a really good fight. And if that's his last fight, I kind of doubt it is. But if it is, man, what a way to go out. Title fight, did your best, put on a good performance against someone that was minus 600 to beat you, and you look pretty good in defeat, if that makes any sense. But yeah, good on Dustin. Makachev, stay in your lane. Do not move up. He doesn't want nothing to do with Edwards or anyone at 170. He needs to stay at 155. Stay disciplined. Get your weight down. Whatever is urging him to move up in weight, he needs to cut that shit out because it's not for him. He needs to stay where he is.
Aussie, I respect the shit out of you, man. I'm only using the words that you said earlier. You got burned on some money lines, and you've been getting burned on the money lines. Stick with to what you do because at 34-1, god damn it, boy, that's what you do right there. You pull them fucking crazy ass lines out of nowhere, and you hit them. Good shit, brother. Joe.
I just want to throw a little. Fuck you guys. I don't care. You know me. Plug, shameless, whatever. Darce is 6-0, bitches. Darce hit all three.
Ooh,
The
let's
fe-
go.
the feature, the co-main, and the main. Um, Kevin Holland beat the method. Fucked the method up, but picked the fucking method on the main and the co-main. Like, man, I don't know what you guys think about betting models, but I'm getting ready to tomorrow morning. I'll post the main events and the co-main event for
let,
this
let,
week's card.
let me ask you this, Joe. Is this the future of betting?
Absolutely, it's how they set lines now. It's how the casinos win now. If you want to compete, you have to figure out what you have to do what they're doing. They no
There's no
longer
way to
have
stop it. They
they
can't
they
stop
no
it, right?
longer have.
Yeah.
I mean, they do, but even though they still have sharps sitting in a room somewhere breaking shit down, all those sharps now are looking at the AI going, yeah, that's right. And when the AI is way off, they're challenging it, but they're going to learn, stop challenging it, fire them fucking bookies, hire a tech team, tell them to process your shit through and set your odds. And they're already on the way to that. They've already been on the way. There's no way around it. So if you think you're going to beat them without similar tools, you're fooling yourself. You're just fucking putting yourself on for the sake of your ego, in my opinion.
Right. I've got to shoot
I'll tell
off,
you what,
guys.
Aussie, I'm
Thanks heaps for a great show. I'll listen to the rest later, and hope everyone cashes next week.
no appreciate you for coming by, Aussie. Always appreciate you having here and flexing on them crazy odds that you
Yeah,
get. Last thing
crazy,
I was
bro.
gonna say was I'm borderline telling Joe not to fucking release those Darce picks and let us have them because sheesh, 6-0, 4-1 on perfect fucking calls. And you know what? I'm gonna give that 4-1 a 5-0 because hey, Kevin Holland got it done, right? And Fuego.
I just want to know if that voice for Darce is that Joe? Is that a hidden Joe
No,
voice? That's um. But in all reality, Joe, Darce could replace Minty Betts. You know, there's no doubt about that. I think we should pitch Darce to the UFC to replace her shitty ass picks.
I'm trying to go on a run longer than John Jones with Darce, and then we'll talk about that shit. Let me get to 17, 18, and 0, and we'll see where this motherfucker goes.
Hey, so let's go back to this fight real quick. And I just, people talk about Makhachev and how great he is, and he's supposed to be. I mean, do you guys honestly feel he was better than Habib? When you watch him fight, do you think he's better than Habib?
Uh, Khabib
Because
would beat him today.
what?
Khabib would beat him today.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree.
I will say
It's
this for his whatever the same they try to make those guys, they sure don't fight anything alike. Islam doesn't fight like Khabib. Like if you watched Khabib, if you actually know how Nurmagomedov fought, like if you really watched him, Islam doesn't fight anything like he fought. They're not the same. They're not at all. Uh, no, he's nowhere close to Nurmagomedov. Nowhere close.
Yeah, so one thing I was going to say about Makachev in this fight is, and we had seen glimpse of it in the first Volkanovski fight. Obviously, he finished the second Volkanovski fight with a head kick. That was his striking, but his striking looked fucking crisp in this fight. He's becoming a very well-rounded fighter all the way around. Striking is, hey, he fucking was beating up on Dustin Poirier on the feet, man, and that's a big feather to put in your cap. But when it comes to the Khabib Islam talk, I still think Khabib probably beats the shit out of him, and I'm going to keep on reinforcing that because Islam striking is so much more cleaner, it opens him up so much more to get hit back and to get countered and beaten. It's not like Khabib. Khabib was very, very sloppy and very ugly. And for the takedown style that both of them have, I think that is a better advantage. Khabib, the way he ducked and fucking dipped his head in, it made takedowns basically impossible to see. It made his overhands impossible to see. It made him very hard to hit. We got to see Dustin Poirier try for some of those uppercuts against him, and he threw him at the right time. The head was just wonky and all over the place and didn't get to land. I think Khabib is still the better fighter when it comes to him and Islam, but I still want to give Islam all his fucking props. He was popping Dustin's head back, and he looked great on the feet. For somebody that is an Islam fan, um, that was a that was a performance that did kind of win me over. I thought he looked great.
Well, and like I'm gonna kind of tail off what you're saying, I guess, because listen, they didn't bring Nurmagomedov didn't come back for this camp because I mean I know there's all that tax rumor shit going on, but let's be realistic. Without a real camp with Habib, Islam lost that fight for sure. He wasn't gonna win. That's not a lie. I'm not being a dick. If you're telling me that the camp that Islam's had for his last 3 fights, we're gonna beat the version of Dustin Poirier that we seen last night, you're full of shit, and I'm just not gonna argue with you. There's no fucking way. He I don't care what they say. He made the call. He called in and said, "Brother," or Khabib called and said, "Hey, listen, that's not gonna go the way you think it is. I'm on my way."
Yeah, and Joe, there's something else to be said about, going back to your corner when you've struggled at points during a round, and Khabib is sitting there yelling in your ear that you're fucking the fight up.
Yeah,
There's something that says a lot and motivates a fighter a lot. It has to.
yeah. I just he's not as good as him. I'm reinforcing what Usman was saying, bro. He's not as good. It's okay. It doesn't make him less of a fighter. He's just not as good.
No, I remember seeing that Khabib Gaethje fight, and just thinking like there there is something about the aura. There's something about the pressure that Khabib emitted. Like the best way I could say is it was some anime bullshit where Khabib is walking forward on him, and Gaethje is acting like he's fighting three different Khabibs. Like he just walked his ass down, cornered him, did exactly what he wanted. Like there's a reason for all that. The footwork is probably not as good or is not as pretty as Islam's footwork, but it's more functional. Like the striking not as pretty, not as good as Islam's striking, but it is more functional for that style.
Well,
Lastly,
Usman, the other thing too is when you watched Khabib and he got a takedown, you knew the guy wasn't getting up. Like that was a wrap for that round. You don't feel that same way with Makhachev. And although he'll take you down and it's a good takedown, you don't feel like he's invincible when he takes you down like you did for Khabib.
My last comment on this, and then I'm actually probably done on the mic, would be that in life, and listen, uh, if there's 8 of us in here, there's no way we all actually understand it. In life, one of the proudest things I have in my personal life that people will say about me, if you know me, is he has no off switch. When he turns it on, there is no off. And it's one of the proudest things I can say about myself, and you recognize it in other people. Nurmagomedov has the strongest on switch we have ever seen in fighting, and Islam is not that. I'm not dogging Islam, but he is not that. And Nurmagomedov is his I am going to I can't he wasn't as good of a takedown artist and as everybody thinks. He was relentless. All he had to do was
Hmm.
get on top of you or grab you. He would fucking squeeze your legs together and hug your legs until you fell. His on and his go, and I will not stop until I am done. Islam has maybe 50% of it. It's not even close, in my opinion.
I mean, just to add to that, Joe, the fucking guy, I'm over here freaking going nuts about that Gaethje performance because it was absolutely amazing. We don't think about the backstory of his father's death and walking into that fight with fucking mumps on antibiotics. Like, Jesus Christ, man. I think he also had a broken toe or some shit. Like that on switch is there was no off switch. And even to this day, like we can make jokes that he looks a little more plump. The boy is still a fucking brick wall because
Well,
yeah, man, Khabib another
let me
breed.
ask you this: just simple answers, simple questions. If you absolutely in your life had to figure it out, you would have to believe you could wear Islam down if you had to, right?
Yeah.
If you absolutely had to, your life depended on it. Do you think you could wear Khabib down?
No,
That
no.
After that Gaethje performance, hell
not
no.
nothing you can do. Nothing you would ever be able to do. Nothing. And Islam just don't have that, bro. He does not have it. He doesn't. He does not have that.
And you know what does wear down Islam? The key to why Dustin Poirier looks so fucking good. You know I'm gonna say it. You know I was coming into it. Uh, Somebody put some respect on Matus Gamrot, man. I really think that he was a big key in the takedown defense and the get ups in Dustin Poirier's game because Dustin Poirier looked fucking career best, especially against takedowns. And I think that damn the grappling, the cardio of Matus along with the volume of the striking, like I said against to somebody else, Matus is gonna get hurt. He's gonna get that chin touched. He might get wobbled, but he is going to keep on coming, and you are going to wrestle with him. You're gonna roll with him for fucking 25 minutes, and it's gonna feel like 45 minutes. I think there's a reason why nobody wants to fight Matus in that fucking division. Gamrot's the real thing.
So then Sarukian's the obvious next fight for Makachev. Do we all agree with that?
That's definitely what they're pushing. I think that, or they're gonna let him go do the Leon fight. But even Dana was like, "Oh yeah,
It's got to be Sarukian. There's no other fight to make because you got Oliveira and Gaethje. We've already seen those. You know, we've seen Poirier. We haven't seen Gamrot, but it's got to be Sarukian.
yeah." I think that's what they're gonna be pushing for.
And you know
Dana didn't
what?
seem
Put
too
put
excited
that
about the
fight
Leon fight.
put that fight as a headliner in the Middle East, and it's going to do well.
Well, I know Islam said that he wants to come back November and fight more in America. So we'll see. We'll see how that's gonna go. Usually, guys, we touch on the next card a little bit at the end of the space. We're already racking up an hour and 40 minutes. We started right on time. And hey, we gave 302 the respect that it needed, right? Even though it fucking dragged on our time with all the decisions, we dragged the time out for that fight or for that card. Uh, Tuesday, we'll be here to break down the cards. Today, I'm calling it a night. It's been a long one. Appreciate all y'all coming out. I thought it was a pretty damn great space, man. I think we were flowing. We were flowing pretty damn good. Hit every topic, all that good shit. Aussie and Fuego, Joe, Better Times, that new guy, Odds Grappler, everybody that came out. We had a good turnout. Appreciate y'all. I'm calling it a night. Tuesday, guys. Tuesdays, hit us up for headlines, fight announcements. We got some crazy fight announcements. And I'm breaking down UFC Louisville. I'll catch y'all guys later. Appreciate y'all.